The hijacking narcissist, from trans to patriot to woke. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. No, this isn't about narcissists that take over aeroplanes. It's about the way that the narcissist hijacks and commandeers certain causes. You ought to know by now that a narcissist, when it involves another person or the contemplation of involving another person, is governed by the necessity of at least one thing, and usually four things: to control that person. And that can be done either directly, indirectly, through withdrawal, both passive and active. To draw fuel from that person, fuel being the lifeblood of the narcissist. To obtain character traits from that individual. If you want to understand more about that, watch my video, Character Trait Acquisition. And finally, to get residual benefits: money, the pleasure of sex, access to networks, a lift into town, whatever it might be. In order to compel the narcissist to achieve those prime aims, the narcissism must make the narcissist form certain beliefs in order to do so. You, for example, will experience a dry throat. It's uncomfortable, and you understand that means that you're thirsty. Therefore, your body is utilizing a self-defense mechanism to stop you becoming severely dehydrated, thus risking injury and death, by making you feel uncomfortable and allowing you to understand what that means, so that you then seek out hydration. It's like a light coming up on the dashboard of your car. Similarly, the narcissism will cause the narcissist to feel a particular way and think a particular way, so it causes the narcissist to pursue the prime aims. So, for example, it will ignite the fury of the narcissist and cause him to believe that this particular person has transgressed against them, so they deserve a good shoeing. Thus, the narcissist is motivated to visit physical violence upon that person for the purpose of assertion of control and drawing fuel. In another instance, it causes the narcissist to feel horny, so that they want to have sex with that person, thus asserting control over them by using sex, drawing fuel from their responses, and experiencing the residual benefit of the pleasure of having an orgasm. But what also happens with the narcissist is that the narcissist is apt to hijack certain causes. There are lots of different beliefs, stances, causes, agendas that exist in this world. It involves people standing up for their rights in certain ways. For instance, standing up for their right to not be prejudiced because they have a different sexual preference. Standing up not to be prejudiced because they identify as non-binary, for example. There may be individuals who want to stand up to protect the environment. They don't want a copse of trees to be demolished as a consequence of a new road development. They want to prevent the closure of a school because they believe that that is against the interests of the children. There's lots of causes and activism that exists across a wide range of subjects. Within those groups that protest, write letters, go on marches, engage in activism, they're drawn from a wide range of people. There are empathic people who care about these issues, and they go about doing so in a manner whereby, unless in extremis as a consequence of an application of an external stressor, they still exhibit emotional empathy. Therefore, they will protest, but within the law. They will write letters stating their case in a reasonable way and not resorting to ad hominem insults. They will go on a discussion panel to talk about the instances and what they're campaigning for, and do so in a coherent manner without trying to score points in a low-handed and ad hominem attack way. Normal people will behave in a similar way. But what we often find, of course, within these particular groupings are a certain very vocal minority that get particularly agitated, are particularly vociferous in what they have to say. These individuals may often advocate a form of direct action, the destruction of property, physical assaults, resisting the police, engaging in campaigns of harassment in order to bring about change. Now, there are instances, of course, that non-narcissists could engage in similar behaviour, because they've suffered an external stressor. So, for example, you could have somebody whose child has been killed as a consequence of the behaviour of a paedophile, and they campaign against that, and they go so far as to join a mob which marches upon a suspected paedophile's house, and causing damage to it, and perhaps lynching that individual. But more usually, empathic and normal people act within the confines of their emotional empathy first. And what you find is that their causes become hijacked by certain individuals who are agitators, troublemakers, and are particularly vocal. In a way, they give their cause a bad name. Who are these individuals? Well, of course, they come from the narcissists. The narcissist believes, where they're an unaware one, that they fully support this cause, but actually they don't. What happens is their narcissism recognizes that this is a very useful way of being able to assert control over people, draw fuel from them, get character traits and residual benefits. So it compels the narcissist to believe they have a full-blooded support for the relevant cause, and that their activity, often unpleasant, sometimes unlawful, is entirely justified. So there will be individuals, for example, who do not feel comfortable being, for example, identified as male, and they believe that they are female, that they feel that they are trapped in the wrong body, and they want to make changes and be identified as not being male but being female. And they do so, going about this in a quiet manner, wanting to ensure that people understand their position and their point of view, but they do so in a compassionate and fair manner. They don't go around attacking people. They don't go around saying, "You're prejudicing my rights," just when somebody has made an honest mistake of addressing them by a name that's not their preferred pronoun. What you invariably see amongst the more volatile and agitating aspects of, for instance, the trans movement, are individuals who are narcissists, whereby their narcissism is chosen to suggest, "I now identify as female and you're not allowed to tell me to the contrary. Even though I stand here as essentially a bloke with a beard and a dress, I'm now trans, and if you say anything against me, you're a hater and transphobic, and I will shut you down. I will encourage other people to cancel you. I will picket your household. I will engage in violence towards your family members. I will smash your windows, etc." Those agitators are invariably narcissists who truly, genuinely don't give two hoots about the cause that they're involved with, but simply their narcissism identifies it as a useful vehicle. Those individuals that claim that they're patriots, that they support their nation, and that they stand there proudly waving their flag, but they engage in exhibiting hatred towards other people, attacking them, smashing up their properties, labelling them. Again, those behaviours are driven by a lack of emotional empathy and is invariably occasioned by a narcissist hijacking that patriotic cause for the purposes of the assertion of control and the drawing of fuel. I've explained in many instances the woke behaviour that is exhibited, the social justice warrior. They aren't actually those things. There are many people that support a liberal attitude, a tolerant attitude, and do so in a constructive way. They don't have to shout and scream at people when they're giving a lecture trying to close them down. They don't prescribe a certain set of behaviours and say that if you don't follow them, then you're a hater. They put their view across calmly, sensibly, listening to others. But invariably these moderate and sensible individuals are drowned out because there is this almost lunatic fringe that's vociferous, hateful, driven to make a lot of noise, to cancel people. Again, you will find the narcissists amongst this grouping. What is important to understand? That the narcissist, being a chameleon and lacking emotional empathy, neither cares for the cause nor for the people that their behaviour affects. Their narcissism makes them believe that they are committed to the cause, but all they're doing is hijacking that cause as a means to get to a particular outcome vis-a-vis the prime aims. So whether it's claiming to be trans, claiming to be a patriot, claiming to be a liberally minded, tolerant individual, whether it's claiming to be a supporter of a particular football club, whether it's standing up for the rights of mushrooms in a field. Whatever it might be, certain narcissists come along and hijack that cause, and they don't care about it all, because their behaviour demonstrates that they don't. Instead, what we witness is the hijacking of the cause for the pursuit of the prime aims. And these are the individuals which cause so much trouble within these organisations that often actually send the cause backwards as a consequence of the way that they conduct themselves. In essence, the narcissism sits there and thinks, join BLM, join Socialist Worker, join that organisation, because it's going to serve our purposes. And you can do so without accountability, with a sense of entitlement, without exhibiting emotional empathy, without following the rules, by kicking up a stink, by causing trouble, by destroying property, by attacking people, by stealing money, by rioting, whatever it might be. Because at the end of the day, the pursuit of the prime aims is what it is all about. The relevant cause is just a means of getting there. So often, when you see the behaviour of certain radical individuals within activism, you may actually be witnessing a narcissist at work who simply doesn't care about the cause, but they're just motivated, subconsciously of course, by what's in it for them. This will help you understand so much more of these behaviours of these individuals and why my work is so important in that regard. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.